Narcissistic parents may never own up, to the abuse that, they have done with you. And this is because they have inability to self-reflect. They think what they are doing is absolutely okay. Yeah, and whenever you try and confront them, they are going to tell you, well, I did for your greater good. World is a bad place. Maybe I did hit you, but look where you are. That made you stronger. Maybe I criticized you, but see where you are. You are a stronger individual. I prepared you for the bad world. Yeah. So, rather than confronting me, rather than, calling out my bad behavior, you should instead thank me. You should instead, oblige me. You should instead, express gratitude. Yeah. Because I did something great with you. Yeah, I did something which nobody else, would have done. Yeah, and all of that made you a stronger you. All of that made you an amazing you. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about, the things that narcissistic parents may never admit and accept. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So, narcissistic parents have this extreme sense of entitlement. They lack empathy. They have inability to self-reflect. They want to be the center of the universe. They want all the good things just for themselves. They want to have, total control, over their kids' life. And narcissistic parents fail to see their kids as separate individuals. They see their kids as an extension of themselves. Yeah. So they expect their kids to, believe and follow and like and dislike the same things, they do. Yeah. They cannot accept their kids to like the things that they don't like and they don't approve of. Yeah. That causes them narcissistic injury. That's quite threatening for them. Yeah, they want their kids to like and love and do the things they like, love and do. They want the kids to, do the things their way and not their unique way. Yeah. So, narcissistic parents basically, choose to become parent because they want their own source of supply with the same genetic makeup, and someone who will, forever keep serving them, someone who will prioritize them over, their own, needs, wants and desire. That's how, narcissistic parents train their children, yeah, to be obedient slaves. Narcissistic parents don't intend to raise healthy independent adults. Narcissistic parents, intend to raise, loyal, dedicated, devoted slaves with the same genetic makeup. Yeah. So this is how things are. Now, there are a lot of things, that narcissistic parents do with their children, and, they simply get away saying, well, I did it for your greater good. I did it, in your best interest. Um, After all, I'm your father. After all, I'm your mother. Plus the entire ecosystem, the enablers, the flying monkeys, they are going to further gaslight you and tell you, so what? She is doing for your greater good. So what? He wanted, good for you. That's the reason he did this. So what if he hit you? He wants to train you for this difficult and bad world. He wants you to be tough and strong. All that crap, gaslighting phrases that we get to hear, and all of those gaslighting phrases is, basically to embolden and enable the narcissist and to keep the victims confused, in this case, the children. So narcissistic parents, will never take, responsibility and accountability for their, action and behavior. Instead, they are going to, blame it on to their children, or they are going to blame it on to, external, sources, other individuals. So narcissistic parents are never going to take accountability and responsibility for their bad behavior and action, and this is because of this extreme sense of entitlement. I am perfect, I know it all, I don't need to change. Change is for the inferior one, change is for the flawed one. I have reached epitome of perfection, so I don't need to learn anything from my child. My child has to learn things from me. Yeah, so it's pretty, monological. It's pretty one way. It's not two way. Communication is also one way. You just have to listen to them, whatever shit they have to say, and you have to keep playing along, and that's it. The moment you open your mouth or express yourself, or disagree or refuse, that's the time they are going to throw a lot of shit at you. Yeah, they're going to treat you passive aggressively. They are going to triangulate, bring in other individuals, their flying monkey and enablers, to throw you off balance, to gaslight you, to make you feel miserable, withhold love and affection, treat you like an invisible child. They have a lot of tricks up their sleeve. Yeah. uh, Grandiose has their own unique way. Cowards have their own unique way, where they're going to guilt trip you and tell you, I suffered so much, I sacrificed this, and this is what I get in return. Can't I expect this from you? Can't I expect that from you? So, either ways, you are, fucked in the head. Let me tell you honestly, narcissistic parents do no good. Instead, they, handicap you in a lot of ways. Yeah, I think it's high time, that survivors of narcissistic abuse, should be, seen and categorized as disabled individuals, because I don't feel 100% able and okay. I feel disabled, in some ways. I don't feel fit and fine and normal like any other individual. I feel that I have a lot of disabilities, and I might not ever be able to function like a healthy individual. Yeah, I mean, before speaking, I have to think 10,000 times. I don't know. It just comes, from within. Yeah, I really don't want to hurt others with my words. I really don't want to, offend anyone. I really don't want to, make others, feel unwelcomed, or I really don't want to, make others feel, bad. And, this is all because of that, conditioning. This is all because of that, narcissistic abuse. Yeah, the abuse that I experienced since childhood. Yeah, whether it is narcissistic parent, narcissistic spouse. So narcissistic abuse, or in this case narcissistic parents, handicap you in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that I am like any other person. I think I have my own disabilities, whether it is psychologically, physical, or whatsoever. I don't feel whole. Okay, I get it. I can walk, I can talk, I can use my hands well, I can make things, I can paint, I can create, I can type, I can cook. I get it. But, I personally feel that these are, just the couple of things that I am able to do. But the kind of impediment that I have, on a psychological level, that is something which I might not be able to describe. Yeah, I might motivate you guys, I might explain things, I might write a book, I might, create posts for my social media, I might do a lot of things, and all of this might appear as if, I'm trying to help others because I'm fit and fine. But let me tell you, I'm not 100% fit and fine. I sometimes, feel disabled in a lot of ways. Yeah, might not be physically, but I feel I have my own impediments and challenges. And when I see someone who were not raised by narcissistic parents, I can easily feel and understand, yeah, and see the difference. Yeah, the way how they function, behave, and react and process, and the way how I function, react, and process. Okay, I went no contact, I have healed, but I'm not 100%. I think I am handicapped in some ways. Yeah, narcissistic abuse does damage you. It does, disable you. Yeah, because it is stunting your growth. It is eroding your self-worth and self-esteem. It is, uh, in a way, trapping you in this, a spiral of rumination. Even though you go no contact, you come out I get it, you start over, everything is fine, you've got a loving husband, loving wife, but some way or the other, trust me, you will, be haunted. Some way or the other, you will not be able to, completely erase everything and, forget things and start over again. Some way or the other, you will feel as if, you are being reminded. Yeah, you really cannot forget that. I get it, you have a good life, you've got a good career, healthy partner, healthy kids, everything is great. No interference from your narcissistic parents side, but I don't know. I mean, I find it difficult at this point of time to put it in words, but I might be physically okay. I mean, I have, recovered from diabetes. I had COVID. I survived that as well. And, I had a lot of problems, and I did survive. But, when I look at the kind of, environment that I grew up in, um, I, in a way, have a lot of fear. I, in a way, have a lot of hesitation. I, in a way, have a lot of, this uh, thought in my mind as to how people are going to see, how people are going to view me, how people are going to judge me. Yeah, how people are going to, process the things that I am telling them. Yeah, so, there is something, at the back of my mind that, keeps telling me to double check or maybe triple check. Yeah, things. There is something at the back of my mind that keeps reminding me, what if people hate this? What if people don't like you? What if, what you are saying or doing is absolutely rubbish? Yeah, so, I have my own share of challenges, and those challenges, you know I mean, are at such level that, it is very difficult to, put, names and words to it. So, it's very challenging. At this point of time, I can say I have got no contact, I have healed myself, I've started over again, but I'm not 100%. If I was given the, liberty to, choose, how I define myself, I would, define myself as a handicapped individual. Yeah, because I'm scared. I am, very scared of, something which is not in my control. I'm very scared of, the way how people look at me. I'm scared, of people's intention. I'm scared, of, the things that I do for the others. I am scared, what if my action hurts them, or what if, it in any way, causes disrespect. So, I have my, own, impediments, and I mean, I don't feel whole. I don't feel, okay. I guess, this is something which happens with all the, survivors. Yeah, even though they are in a safe environment, even though, they have healed and, it's been long, they are out of that, narcissistic relationship. But somewhere or the other, they have problems with rumination. Some way or the other, they, keep grieving about things. Some way or the other, they have this intrusive thoughts. Some way or the other, they are, scared. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, that's who we are, that's who I am. But anyways, now coming back to, the things that narcissistic parents may never accept or admit. And, the reason why I decided to make this video was to, give closure to a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts that, the children of narcissistic parents have. Yeah, why didn't my father try and understand my side of story? Why didn't my mother respect me and, appreciate me for the things I have done for her? Why didn't my mother treat me, the way how she treated my other sibling? Why didn't, my mother, try and understand my side of story? Why didn't she care about my feelings? Why didn't my father, treat me well in front of the others? Why he had to criticize and humiliate me in front of the others? Yeah, so we have a lot of questions, and all of those questions with this lack of closure makes us doubt and question our own self. Yeah, because we don't get closure, and an answer from a narcissistic parent. And as a result of which, all of that question haunts us and makes us feel as if there's something wrong with me. Yeah, I was the bad one. I was the naughty one. I was not the obedient one. And maybe that's why I was treated that way. Yeah, we try and make sense of things. We try and, process things in our own unique way. And the end result is that I'm wrong. In the end, we come to a conclusion that there was something wrong with me. I was a difficult child. I was not good enough. I always, made mess. I wasn't able to do things without my parents' supervision, support and intervention. So, we are, often caught in that spiral. So the entire idea behind making this video is to, help, all of you with closure. And time is the best healer. Yeah, give time, process things, um, in your own unique way. You really don't have to rush and come to a conclusion and reach a verdict. Yeah, just listen to the things that I'm saying, and spend some time, think over it, let it process, and that's it. Go with the flow. Yeah, healing doesn't mean that there is a timeline and you have to resurrect and come out as a new individual, yeah, from a factory in a specific packaging. No, it takes time. Yeah, our brain takes time to process things. Yeah, especially when we are traumatized since childhood, especially when we have experienced a hell lot of abuse, manipulation at all different level. It takes time to unlearn all of that shit. It takes time to see the things the way they are, and then redevelop self-worth, self-esteem, uh, engage in self-love. Yeah, because when we are raised in narcissistic families, self-love is an abomination. Self-love is something which is sinful. Yeah, we are not allowed to engage into self-care, self-love. We are not allowed to even have boundaries, privacy. Our self-worth, self-esteem, all of it was eroded with all the gaslighting phrases, all the manipulation and abuse. So we were never allowed to develop in a healthy way. Yeah, so unlearning all that crap and relearning thing is painful, difficult and uncomfortable. Yeah, any kind of change is painful and uncomfortable. So yes, I mean, take your own sweet time, process things, and then go about in life. So yes, what are the things that narcissistic parents may never admit or accept? The first thing is they are never going to accept their own fault. Yeah, they are going to simply shift the blame onto you, onto your mother, onto your auntie, or onto someone or the other. Yeah, external forces or mystical forces. They're never going to accept, that they have done wrong with you. And this is because, they have this extreme sense of entitlement, and they think that, they are perfect and they can never go wrong. Yeah, so if you are expecting them to own up to their mistakes, and if you're expecting them to accept and admit to the bad things they have done with you, their mistakes and their fault, no, they are not. They have reached epitome of perfection, and faults, mistake, error, bad things are done by the inferior ones. Yeah, like you and me, and not them. They are perfect. So don't expect them to admit their own faults. Yeah, they are never going to do that. So don't have this question taking over your entire mind. Yeah, whether my father is ever going to accept his fault and ever going to apologize, or whether my mother is ever going to accept that she mistreated me. No. Yeah, uh, no matter what they do with you, it is either you or the others that make them treat the way they do. Yeah, so so narcissistic parents will treat you miserably, And in the end, either the blame will be on the others, external forces or other individuals, or they are simply going to conveniently shift all that blame onto you. You provoked me for that reaction, you made me do this, yeah, I never wanted to do this, yeah. So expecting them to apologize or expecting them to admit to their fault, uh, that's never going to happen, yeah. So accept them the way they are. Have this radical acceptance that they are toxic, dysfunctional, narcissistic, antagonistic, I mean, whatever. Have this radical acceptance and give closure. They are never going to reach out to you and tell you sorry, hey, I'm so sorry I mistreated you, hey, I shouldn't have treated you this way, I shouldn't have treated you that way. Please, you know get rid of all those thoughts and questions from your mind. Yeah, they are never going to do that. The other thing narcissistic parents may never admit or accept is the emotional damage they cause. Yeah, narcissistic parents may fail to recognize or admit the emotional harm they inflict on their children, whether it is through manipulation, whether it is through extreme criticism, or it's through neglect. Yeah, they are never going to accept that they emotionally damaged you or they hurt you. They are not going to accept that. Instead, they are going to do a number on you, or when you confront them, they are going to blame onto the others. Well, you have got no idea, I used to be so stressed with work, I had to do this and that, you have got no idea what I had gone through. They are going to shift the blame onto their childhood. We didn't know much, the kind of environment I grew up in, we did not have that much of understanding, so I'm not to be blamed. Yeah, because I didn't know about all of these things. I didn't know that you could feel this way. Back in our days, in our time, things were very different. Kids were not like, the way how you are responding to things. Kids were very, strong, and they were very obedient. But in today's time, things are different. Kids are way too fragile. Back in our days, things were very different. So, narcissistic parents are going to throw a word salad at you. They are never going to accept the emotional damage, they have caused you. Yeah, and this is again because of a lack of empathy, inability to self-reflect, extreme sense of entitlement. I am perfect, I know it all. No matter what I do to you, it is for your greater good. That's it. End of story. Yeah? The other thing narcissistic parents may never admit or accept is, lack of empathy. So, they will never own up, or they will never, accept that they had, failed, to express empathy, or they had failed to treat you with empathy. And this is because they really don't understand what empathy is, and how empathy affects and influences others, in this case their children. Yeah, it's all about entitlement. I want this, I need this, and that's it. They are extremely self-absorbed, self-centered individuals, selfish individuals. So it's all about I, me, myself, them. That's it. And they ruthlessly manipulate and exploit and abuse others. Yeah, to get things out of them. Narcissistic supply, and whatever they want. So they push boundaries. They go to any extent. So narcissistic individuals fail to understand what empathy is. They fail to understand how empathy impacts you, I mean their children, how lack of empathy makes you feel miserable, how lack of empathy makes you feel not seen and heard, how lack of empathy distorts your reality, how lack of empathy erodes your self-esteem and self-worth, how lack of empathy makes you feel that your feeling, emotion, and your expressions are useless. Yeah, they are not to be considered, or they are not to be paid attention to. So narcissistic parents will never accept that they lack empathy. Instead, they are going to tell you, well, I gave birth to you, I did this for you, all these superficial material things they are going to talk about. Yeah, they're going to tell you, I paid for your school, I paid for this, I paid for that, I took you out for dinner, I got you good clothes. But they're not going to, address to this lack of empathy. Yeah, where they fail to, sit with you and talk things out, where they fail to address your feelings and emotion, where they fail to, sit together and ask you as to how you are feeling and what you are going through. Yeah, it's all the tangible stuff, superficial stuff, that's it. Well, I, fed you 3 times every day, I took care of your medical, I sent you to good school, and that's it. That's what every parent does. Yeah, so they are simply going to evade all kind of accountability and responsibility by, telling you about the material things they have done. Yeah, sitting together, talking things out. Yeah, is something which is not in their list. Yeah, it's all about, laying out the instructions, doing the bare minimum basic thing, and that's it. And you keep following their instructions, you keep doing their bidding, and that's it. And don't question them. Instead, keep thanking them and keep, telling them what an amazing parent they are. The other thing narcissistic parent may never accept or admit to is, their need for control. So narcissistic individuals are control freaks. Narcissistic parents are control freaks, and they, control anything and everything in their kids' life. They really don't understand what boundary is. They really don't understand what personal space is. Yeah, and this is because of extreme sense of entitlement, lack of empathy. They really don't care what you are feeling or what you're going through. Yeah, it's all about them. So, no matter, how well you try and confront them, or, tell them or explain them that, they were very controlling, they were, control freaks, and they were controlling anything and everything in your life. And because of their, action and behavior, to an extent your life is damaged, and you are damaged, and you have experienced pain and, problems and challenges. They are never going to accept that. Instead, they are going to tell you, well, I was doing it for your greater good. You see it as control, but the way how I look at it is, I am a loving parent and I love you. Yeah, so anything that is abusive, anything that is, exploiting you, abusing you, anything that is, abusive, toxic, dysfunctional, will be packaged in love, care, and concern by the narcissistic parent. So, they are never going to, own up that they were control freaks. And, because of their controlling nature, and because of them, controlling anything and everything in your life is messed up, and you have suffered because of their controlling nature. They are never going to accept that. Instead, they are going to tell you that it was out of love and concern. Yeah, I was, trying to protect you. I was trying to protect you from the bad influence, bad people out there. The other thing narcissistic parents may never admit or accept is, the impact, of their behavior on their children's self-esteem. Narcissistic parents may not realize or admit that their, constant criticism or unrealistic expectations, contributed to their, children's low self-esteem, or, this feeling of inadequacy. Narcissistic parents are not going to accept that. Instead, narcissistic parents are going to gaslight you. Yeah, every parent has expectations. Yeah, every parent does things for their children, and they have expectations. This is how it is from, time immemorial. This is how it was in the ancient time. This is what religion says. All that crap they are going to, throw at you, and they are going to try and gaslight you. They are never going to accept that, by constantly criticizing you, or by constantly burdening you with unrealistic expectations, they have destroyed you and damaged you. They have, eroded your self-esteem by constantly comparing you, by constantly criticizing you, by constantly reminding you that you are not good enough because you are not doing the things my way. So they are never going to accept that. Instead, they are going to gaslight you, shift the blame onto you or onto the others, and that's it. So narcissistic parents, will never take, the responsibility, for, causing this self-esteem issues, in their children's life. The other thing that narcissistic parents may never accept or admit is, their tendency to prioritize their own needs over the children's needs. Yeah, their image, their need, their wants and desires above the needs, wants and desire of the child. Yeah, narcissistic parents may not acknowledge that, they consistently, prioritized, their own desire, ambition and emotional needs, over, those of their children. Yeah, and this is because of extreme sense of entitlement, lack of empathy, extreme self-centeredness. Yeah, it's all about I, me, myself, my feeling, my emotion, my wants, desire has to be prioritized. Yeah, and everybody else in the family, should cater to my wants, desire and needs, and not, theirs. Everybody in the family, should be dedicated and devoted to, cater to my wants, needs and desire. That's it. They should, not prioritize their wants, needs and desire, nor they should expect me to prioritize their wants, needs and desire. Yeah, I should be on, everyone's priority list. I should be the topmost priority. So, narcissistic parents are very selfish and self-centered. So, they will never, accept that, you were secondary to them. Or narcissistic parents are self-centered and selfish individuals, so they are never going to, own up or, tell you that, I'm sorry, I should have prioritized you. Yeah, they are never going to do that. Instead, they are going to guilt trip you, shame you, do numbers on you, bring in their enablers, and that's it. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are never going to own up that, they failed to prioritize you. Yeah, and they always prioritize themselves, whereas in they should have prioritized you, your needs, wants, desire, emotional needs, and all of that. The other thing narcissistic parents may never accept or admit to is, the cycle of abuse. So, they will abuse you, and that's it. You just have to play along and maybe, love them and respect them and, thank them. Yeah, because they prepared you, for the, tough world that is out there. Yeah, all of that abuse, exploitation, manipulation, happens under the guise of care, concern. Yeah, so narcissistic parents may never own up, to the abuse that, they have done with you. And this is because they have inability to self-reflect. They think what they are doing is absolutely okay. Yeah, and whenever you try and confront them, they are going to tell you, well, I did for your greater good. World is a bad place. Maybe I did hit you, but look where you are. That made you stronger. Maybe I criticized you, but see where you are. You are a stronger individual. I prepared you for the bad world. Yeah. So, rather than confronting me, rather than, calling out my bad behavior, you should instead thank me. You should instead, oblige me. You should instead, express gratitude. Yeah, because I did something great with you. Yeah, I did something which nobody else, would have done. Yeah, and all of that made you a stronger you. All of that made you an amazing you. Yeah, so that's how, sick narcissistic parents are. So they are never going to accept and admit, the abuse they have done with you. The other thing narcissistic parents may never admit or accept is, their need for admiration and validation. Narcissistic parents may never acknowledge their constant need, for admiration and validation from the others, including their children. Yeah, they will never accept that, they are hungry for attention and admiration, and they can go to any extent to get all of that. Yeah, instead, they are going to shame you. Instead, they are going to guilt trip you. Instead, they are going to do a number on you. Yeah, they're going to tell you, well, how did you grow up to be who you are now? If I never gave attention to you, if I never, took care of you, if I never, focused on you. Yeah, so they have their own ways to deflect, deny, dismiss and gaslight you in return. They are never going to accept that they are hungry for attention, admiration from the others, from you. They just want to be the center of the universe, and they will, cook up stories, create, fake scenarios. Narcissistic parents can go to any extent to, get all that attention, admiration, and validation. They can even manipulate others to, validate them and make them feel a little better. So narcissistic parents are never going to, accept that they are hungry and they are crazy for admiration and validation, whether it is you and the others. Yeah, it's all about them. They want to be the center of the universe, and they want the entire universe to worship them and validate them, appreciate them, and thank them and tell them how amazing they are. They expect their children to thank them and tell them how lucky we are to have you as a parent, and expect nothing in return. Yeah, narcissistic parents are never going to tell you how amazing they are, to have you, how amazing as parents they feel after having you. They are never going to say that. Instead, they will expect you to keep thanking them. Thank you so much for doing the bare minimum. Thank you so much for doing, what every parent does. Yeah, that's how things are in narcissistic families. And the last thing that the narcissistic parents may never own up or accept is that their, behavior influenced and impacted the entire family dynamic. They are never going to, accept that, or admit to that. And it's because of these narcissistic parents there is sibling rivalry. It is because of these narcissistic parents there is estrangement. It is because of this narcissistic parent there is a lot of resentment. It is because of this narcissistic parent there is a lot of fight amongst the siblings. Yeah, it's almost like a competition, yeah, between siblings. It's because of this narcissistic parent there is tension between, the child and the other parent. Yeah, so narcissistic parents will never, take up the responsibility that it is because of them the entire family dynamic is fucked up. They are never going to take the responsibility. Instead, they are going to say, well, your sibling was bad, your sister was bad, your other parent is bad. That's it. I have got no role to play in all of these things. I did my best. Yeah, they are going to guilt trip you. They are going to bring in their flying monkeys and enablers, and then they are going to further distort things. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are never going to admit or accept any bad thing that they do with you. Instead, they are going to shift the blame onto the others. They are going to blame you, or in some of the cases I have seen that they will simply pretend and behave as if there's nothing wrong, everything is fine. It's just that you are cooking up stories. It's just that you are playing up your own scenarios in your head, and you are just not being sane. Yeah, I have seen that as well. So yes, these were a couple of things that the narcissistic parents may never accept or admit to. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Don't ignore the red flags. Please work on yourself. No contact is the only solution. Yeah, to overcome, to heal, and to start over again. But till the time you are, connected to them, or till the time, you are in some ways, involved with them, they will keep dragging you down. They will keep pulling you down. Yeah. So, consider no contact, but, walk that path only when you are capable, when you are strong, when you have the resources and means, then go no contact. Yeah. So, yes, this was it. Take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.